I think that something as simple as counting strokes can be super effective across all the different age ranges and most skills.
Before we hear more from coach and author Andrew Sheaf, we're going to go open water.
We're really going into the details of two big open water festivals. They're being hosted by the International Swim Coaches Association, ISCA, right here in Virginia. And it's more than just the races. It's about understanding why these events are such a big deal for swimmers and maybe what surprising things you can gain by, well, getting out of the pool.
We want to give you all the essential info on these ISCA events. But more than just the facts, we want to offer some perspective on why open water swimming is, well, it's not just another race. It's a really valuable, even exhilarating experience for swimmers at pretty much any level. We've gone through the event guides, the safety plans, looked at articles from experts. Basically, we want to give you a really clear picture of what's happening and why it might matter for your swimming.
Let's jump into the opportunities, because ISCA isn't just offering one chance, but two big open water festivals this year. So double the chance to get involved, right? One is pretty well established, almost a tradition, and the other, that was a completely new adventure, kind of opening up new territory.
Let's start with the one people might know already. The East Coast Open Water Festival at Smith Mountain Lake. This one has a really rich history. It's been a key event for years, and for the last 3, it's been held at the Smith Mountain Lake State Park. Beautiful spot, East Coast Championships. Gives you an idea of the competition level. September 13th and 14th, 2025. Definitely a fixture on the calendar, known for being reliable, great setting.
Okay, a classic. But what about the new one? You said a new frontier. That sounds exciting. Tell us about the Jamestown Open Water Festival.
Right, Jamestown. This is the brand new edition. It's happening at Jamestown Beach Event Park in Williamsburg, Virginia. That's on September 27th and 28th, 2025. It's meant to offer a really different kind of experience, a fresh feel.
Yeah, I saw the new logo for Jamestown. It's got this dynamic swimmer, water splashing. It really looks like it captures that new energy.
It does. And even though they're distinct events, both festivals offer a surprisingly wide range of races, something for almost everyone. So on the Saturday of both weekends, you've got your classic 5K swim race. That's a solid test of endurance. Then there's a 1-mile splash, a 1-mile dash. Great if you want something a bit shorter, faster, or maybe dipping your toe into open water for the first time. But the one that really jumps out, I think, is the Great Knockout.
Okay, the Great Knockout. That sounds intense, like something you'd see on TV. What exactly is that?
It kind of is. It's less of a straight race and more like a strategic game played in the water. It's multi-stage. Swimmers have to adapt constantly. It kicks off with a 1,500-meter swim, then quick break, only 15 minutes, and just the top 20 move on to a tough 1,000-meter race. After another 15-minute recovery, the final top 10 swimmers battle it out in a flat-out 500-meter sprint for the win.
Wow.
Yeah, it tests everything. Endurance, speed, how fast you recover, all under pressure. It's a real measure of, well, complete open water skill.
That sounds incredibly demanding, but also really exciting to watch, I bet. A real tactical challenge. Okay, so what's on tap for Sunday?
Sunday is maybe a bit more accessible overall. There's a half-mile race. And at Smith Mountain Lake, that one's specifically for the 9 and under swimmers. Great way to encourage the youngsters. Then there's another 1-mile race and also a half-mile splash or half-mile dash. But what's really, I think, revolutionary about both festivals is how inclusive they are. All the races, every single one, is open to athletes aged 7 and up.
7 and older for all races.
For all races. It means families can potentially race together or at least be part of the same event day. Swimmers of all ages, all abilities, can find something.
That's fantastic. Really opens the door. Okay, so practically speaking, for someone thinking about signing up, what's race day like? Are they flexible if you decide late? And wetsuits, always a big question in open water.
Good questions. Yes, flexibility is definitely there. They accept race day entries right up until 30 minutes before each race starts. That's a huge bonus for last-minute decisions. And wetsuits, absolutely permitted for every event, which can add that bit of comfort or buoyancy some swimmers like.
And the water itself, cold, warm.
Actually pretty comfortable for both spots, Smith Mountain Lake and Jamestown. They expect the water temperature to be around 78 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, so, pretty pleasant. Wetsuits become more about personal choice for warmth or maybe a little extra buoyancy rather than being essential because it's freezing.
Okay, that's good to know. Now, obviously, safety is paramount in open water, lakes, oceans. They're big places. How does ISCA handle safety? What measures are in place?
That's probably the most critical piece, and ISCA has really established a high standard. Their safety protocols are thorough. Let's start with the starts. They're in-water starts, but swimmers are held in a specific closed-off area. Keeps things organized. Each swimmer gets marked number on the cap, shoulders, legs, and they get a numbered card that matches. They hand this card to a judge before entering the water.
So it's like checking in individually.
It's not just for ID. It ensures every single swimmer is accounted for right at the start. And that tracking continues. It's an individual accountability system, which is pretty impressive for events this size.
Okay, so that's the start. What about once they're out on the course?
Right? Out there, you've got safety boats constantly monitoring the entire route. They're placed strategically, plus dedicated lifeguards on location. There's a first aid tent right near the start-finish, staffed with medical services. And crucially, a safety officer coordinates everyone, lifeguards, EMTs, safety boats using radio communication, so instant response if needed. And specific to Smith Mountain Lake, they also have the local rescue squad on site and a dive team on call. Just adds another layer of security.
So it's not just having people around, it's coordinated.
Very coordinated, proactive monitoring. And get this, each swimmer also gets a numbered card for exiting the water. Plus, safety stations along the course view each swimmer passing, like checkpoints.
Wow, that sounds incredibly comprehensive.
Yeah.
Okay, beyond the vital safety stuff, what about the experience on shore? Comfort, convenience, what amenities are available?
They've definitely thought about the swimmer experience. You'll find restrooms, dressing rooms available, always good after a swim. There's a hospitality tent near the lake with water coolers, keeping everyone hydrated. If you pre-register, an event t-shirt is included, but they'll also have extra shirts for sale if you want another one or miss the pre-registration.
And parking, usually a factor at state parks or event venues.
Yes, there are parking fees. It's $7 at Smith Mountain Lake State Park and $10 at Jamestown Beach Event Park. But here's a little tip. You can buy discounted prepaid parking tickets for just $5 when you register online.
Ah, smart. Good way to save a bit. And, people might worry, what if the weather's bad? What if something happens? Is there a history of these events actually running smoothly?
That's a fair concern, but the organizers have this statement that really says a lot. We've never had to cancel an event in over 30 years.
30 years. Never canceled.
Never. It's not just talk. It shows how strong their planning is, their backup plans, their experience in managing open water events. You can pretty much sign up knowing they have an incredible track record of making it happen.
That's really reassuring. What does all this mean for you, the swimmer? Why bother with open water when the pool lanes are right there, predictable? What's the hidden value in taking that step?
If you look at the bigger picture, open water training builds skills that are just, critical. And they help in all kinds of swimming, not just open water races. First off, there's endurance. We're talking events lasting from maybe 30 minutes up to several hours. This isn't just about sprinting. It's about finding a steady pace, building serious aerobic strength. It pushes you mentally and physically way beyond a typical pool set.
And the environment itself. It must teach you things.
Oh, absolutely. That's the second point. Adaptability. Open water forces you to deal with stuff you never see in a pool. Waves, currents, maybe murky water, sun glare. You have to constantly tweak your stroke, your body position, how you breathe. It's like solving a puzzle while you're moving. It makes you so much more responsive as a swimmer. Third thing, tactical awareness. Big one. No black line on the bottom, no walls every 25 or 50 yards. So you have to learn race strategy, how to position yourself near other swimmers drafting. And crucially, how to sight. That's your navigation. Finding the buoys, swimming the straightest line. It's about being smart and efficient.
Sighting, yeah, that's something pool swimmers rarely think about. What about physical benefits, besides just endurance?
Fourth, you develop amazing core strength and stability. Fighting currents, handling choppiness. It engages your core muscles in a totally different way than smooth pool water does. Strengthens your whole body connection. And finally, maybe the biggest one, mental resilience. You build toughness. You learn to rely on yourself for motivation without the clock or the walls. You might have to overcome fears, deep water, racing elbow to elbow. It really builds composure, the ability to push through when things get uncomfortable, finding that inner drive.
It makes sense then why you hear about elite swimmers, even Olympians, adding open water work to their training. And even high school and club coaches are seeing the value, finding ways to bring those kinds of challenges into their programs. It just makes for a more well-rounded swimmer.
It really does. And what's interesting is how some practical tips can help make that transition from pool to open water. Take sighting, which we mentioned. The trick is efficiency. You only lift your eyes just enough to see forward, maybe eyebrows out of the water, then head down fast and breathe to the side. Lifting your whole head just creates drag and wastes energy.
And breathing to both sides, bilateral breathing. I guess that's pretty important out there.
Oh, incredibly important. You just never know where the waves or sun might be coming from. Breathing bilaterally gives you options, lets you see all around, makes it easier to breathe consistently, spot buoys, deal with chop. For body position and kick, you might need to exaggerate your body roll a bit, lift your shoulder higher to get your arm over waves. Think about clearing a small hurdle with your recovery. And the kick. You really want to economize it. Use your legs mostly for balance, maybe short bursts of speed, but not constant hard kicking. It saves so much energy. Think rudder, not engine.
Any special gear needed besides the usual cap and goggles?
A brightly colored open water safety buoy. You tow it behind you. It's not really for flotation while swimming, but it makes you super visible to safety crews and boats. And you can grab it for a quick rest if you need to pause. Also smart to practice with all your gear goggles, caps, even things like snorkels or pull buoys if you use them in training actually in open water beforehand. Get used to how they feel out there. And one last thing, entry and exit. Be careful, but quick getting in. Slide into a float or tread water, take a second to get your bearings, then start swimming strong. Don't just blast off without looking.
Okay, this all sounds like just an amazing opportunity, a real chance to challenge yourself, see swimming differently. So listeners, the call to action is clear. If this sounds intriguing, if you're curious about pushing beyond the pool lanes, now is definitely the time. Sign up for one of these ISCA open water festivals.
And here are the details on how to join. The entry fees are set up to make doing multiple events appealing. One event costs $85. If you want to do two, it's $100. And for 3 events, it's $110. And remember, those fees include an event t-shirt, but only if you pre-register by the deadlines. That's September 1st for Smith Mountain Lake and September 15th for the Jamestown Festival. Paying is easy. You can do it online through Run Sign Up or send a check to IC. And yes, even with pre-registration encouraged, they do accept on-site entries up to 30 minutes before each race. Adds that flexibility.
Perfect. So to sign up, get more info on the events, learn about ISCA, where should people go?
The main hub is swimisca.org. That's SWIMISCA.org. Everything's there. Registration links, event schedules, all the details.
Swimisca.org. Got it.
And one more thing. For anyone who wants to really learn more about open water technique, strategy, training, ISCA offers a ton of free educational stuff. Just go to blog.swimsca.org. It's packed with great articles, insights from really experienced coaches, people like Steve Munitones. It's a fantastic resource whether you plan to race or you're just curious about the sport.
blog.swimisca.org. Excellent. We've really covered the ISCA Open Water Festivals at Smith Mountain Lake and Jamestown from all angles. The safety, which sounds top-notch, the variety of races, especially that wild great knockout, and importantly, the real tangible benefits open water swimming offers everyone, no matter their age or skill level. It seems like these are events designed to be challenging, yes, but also super rewarding, pushing you physically and mentally.
We really hope you'll consider it. Think about how stepping into that unpredictable, dynamic open water environment could genuinely broaden your whole perspective on swimming. It pushes boundaries, way beyond the comfort zone of the pool lane. It can show you capabilities you didn't even know you had.
So here's something to think about. What new skills, what new mental strength might you discover by taking the plunge, by stepping out of the pool and into the open water? The adventure is definitely out there.
One little point of clarification. The individual buoys that the swimmers can tow behind them are optional. Some people use them, some people don't. Most of the age group swimmers and senior swimmers don't use them, but feel free to bring yours and use it if you wish. Next, let's hear from coach, author, and consultant Andrew Schaaf. He has presented to the audience at wasu.org, WAFSU.org, and he has a wonderful drill collection published there in our learning management system.
I think that something as simple as counting strokes can be super effective across all the different age ranges and most skills. And so, there was a call I did with a club, a couple weeks ago, and that was one of the biggest things was just helping coaches understand that how much easier that can make your life by simply having kids count their strokes. Because one, it makes it objective. If you're concerned that a swimmer isn't maintaining their skills, like if they go from 14 strokes to 16 strokes or whatever it is, like there's no argument there. it's changed, the swimmer knows it's changed, and so that's going to facilitate them making that correction on their own. Whereas opposed to like if you're like your breathing's not as good as it was before, that's kind of a subjective. And so that's an example where you're kind of removing conflict from the coaching environment, and it just makes your life easier because you don't have those conflicts that you're dealing with. And so and stroke count can be valuable in a lot of different ways, but that's just one simple example. Is like the more skill development they have, the better chance that they're going to continue to improve, and if they continue to improve, they're going to stay in your club. And that's going to be an important aspect of just the club in terms of performance, and also from a business standpoint. If kids aren't staying in the sport, like I'm sure every coach can calculate how much it costs if a kid quits at age 12 versus age 18. It's not a small amount of money. And so kind of helping people systematize these things so that they can be consistent with helping kids learn. Help kids learn, they're going to swim faster. If they're going to swim faster, they're going to keep swimming more likely than not. So if they go to my website, which is coachandrewsheaf.com, there's some other resources there, and there's a short video course which they can check out, which is just an easy introduction to everything, so that they can start to grasp the kind of the practical aspect of everything.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe, comment, review, share, and hopefully we'll see you at the pool or the lake in the very near future.